Right, episode 30 at the Back of the Class podcast. I'm Glenn Anderson.
I'm Ben Hanlon.
And
and
before we
week,
start off this week's episode, I'd like to say huge thank you to our sponsors, Platinum Properties Ireland, the Balgriffin Inn, the Pitside Pizza and Grill, and the Members First Credit Union and VIR Electrical. And this week we're joined by
Rob Lipsett. What's going on, guys?
Thanks a lot for coming in, Rob, with your big energy. You're the happiest man ever.
Thank you guys for having me on. You know, I have so much respect for just you two young lads from Dublin getting after it. Like it genuinely makes me so happy to see it. And not only like, you know, just you two really young guys being so proactive. I love to see anyone from Ireland, you know, utilizing social media, making a name for themselves. So I'm just delighted to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, honestly. And what a way to start off episode 30, a new chapter for us with Rob Lipsett.
The big 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. And even with the content creation in Ireland, do you think it's a lot harder to start in Ireland with the sort of mindset that Irish people would have? Like they try and knock you down until you're big enough where they can't knock you down. They have no choice but to support you. That's what me and Glenn find.
Completely. So we're a nation of begrudgers. Unfortunately, it's just Irish humor. But funny enough, like they make fun of you at the start. And then when you get a bit of traction, they're going to ask you for favors. And that's just how it goes. But like with Irish people, you can't take it too seriously because it's just kind of in our humor to like slag each other. So I wouldn't take it too seriously. And we do also like, but yeah, when I started out, I got a lot of hate from Irish people, but I also got the most support from Irish people. And if you go into my analytics, the main demographic that follows me is still Irish people. So, you know, I'm not going to shit on my own doorstep. I got so much love for Ireland. I'm always happy to go back there. It's my main demographic. I'm Irish. My best friends are Irish. And so, you know, I love Ireland so much, but it is a tough place to start the whole content creation.
And you know, I wanted to ask you, Rob, what is something that you think people always presume about you, but isn't true?
I'm a lot more like the sound, so like, you know, complimenting myself, but I'm a lot more down to earth than some people realize. And even better with Chris, get better with Chris. After the run, he said to me, he's like, "Oh, you're actually really sound offline." He was like, "The way you sounded, I thought you'd be." And I was like, "Chris, I don't know if that's a compliment or not." So I think people think that I might like be a bit too big for my boots or something. And then they'll meet me in person and I'm very, very friendly and outgoing. And I treat everyone with the same enthusiasm.
Yeah, deadly. Thanks a lot. And something we do with our guests, Rob, is we like to bring it back to the start. Do you want to tell us what life was like growing up for you? How were you in school? When did you first get into fitness and different things like that?
For sure. I love also like starting podcasts chronologically. Like it's just a lot easier to kind of get someone's story and to go along the whole timeline. So, you know, I grew up in great circumstances. You know, I grew up in a lovely part of Dublin. I went to an amazing school, went to a boarding school in Ireland. So, you know, I'm not going to pretend I have some rags to riches story. But when I was in school, I was very academically challenged. Like I was the worst in the year. I could not concentrate. I couldn't find any interest in any of the topics or subjects that I'm doing. And I feel a lot of young guys right now could relate to that, can relate to what I'm saying. So, you know, I was always just failing all my exams and I was really worried about the future because I was like, there's no way I'm going to get into college. There's no way I'm going to get a job. I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. Like it's going to be a dead end. But the only thing that I was really, really passionate about and that I loved doing was fitness, was going to the gym. And so I thought to myself, how can I make a living out of doing bicep curls? How can I make a living out of going to the gym? And so rugby is what got me into the weights room. And, you know, I always played rugby and I was decent, but I really loved the actual strength and conditioning and the actual training around it. So I finished school, I finished the Leaving Cert, didn't get the best results as expected. I scraped into a college course that I was just not passionate about and I couldn't stick at it. I failed first year and then I had to repeat the year and I failed the year again. And that was one of the most sickening, like disheartening feelings ever because I just reviewed not only the last year, but the last 2 years. And I looked at my life and I said, Rob, you've made zero life progress. You are in the exact same place as you were 2 years ago. And that is just the worst feeling in the world, especially for guys like us who are so driven towards self-improvement and progress. So that was a sickening feeling. And then I had to make a decision for myself. What am I passionate about? What am I actually going to stick at? What am I going to want to wake up in the morning and be like, all right, let's go. Let's do this thing. And for me, that was fitness. So I said, okay, how in the hell am I going to make a living out of going to the gym? Am I going to become a personal trainer? Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. So I got my personal trainer certificate, my qualification, and I passed with flying colors without even studying. And that for me was like, oh my God, I'm not stupid. I'm not an idiot. I was just being pushed towards the wrong things. And, I was led to believe I was the class clown. Teachers would kind of joke about me like, oh, another fail for Rob. And we're led to believe that we're idiots sometimes. We're led to believe that we're not good, that we're bad, we're failures. And I'm really speaking to a lot of young guys here. You're just not on the right path and you just haven't found what you're good at. And so for me, that was strength training and fitness. And then when I realized that I passed all these exams, and they're complicated exams, and I passed them without even studying because I was just so into reading books about fitness anyways, it was like a eureka moment. I was like, oh my God, yes, I am on the right path. So now I've dropped out of college. I've been fired from all like the little retail jobs I've been doing on the side. I've got my personal trainer certificate. I'm training people here and there, but I said, I need to scale this. I need to take it online. And I was watching so many guys in America, mainly on YouTube, guys like Christian Guzman, the Hodge twins, Max Tuning, Matt Ogus, Steve Cook, all these guys, and they were just making a killing, traveling the world, going to fitness expos, selling programs, selling books. And I said, I need to do this. So I picked up my iPhone and I sellotaped it to the wall because I didn't have a tripod. And I just started making YouTube videos. I was the only person in all of Ireland making YouTube fitness videos. Like I was literally the first person to do it. I got slagged, I got made fun of, but I also got a lot of support as well. So I just started uploading like my life depended on it because it literally did. This was the only way for me to go.
And where did the drive come from? Because like a lot of people thought that they would have had the office job, or you would have been in college probably doing something good, and even the PT course was like, right, good, I'm at the making it here. Where did you always think like, I want to go more, I want to go more, I want to go more?
Great question. And so the drive came, well, I saw what other guys were doing and I said, I want some of that. And I also had a bit of a burn the boats moment. I had nothing else to do. I had no other option. And so I didn't really care if people made fun of me because I was like, all right, you can make fun of me all you like. I don't have anything else to do. So it really doesn't matter. So I literally it was a burn the boats moment. And it just did not matter. I had nothing to worry about, nothing. It didn't matter what anyone said because I was just going to do it anyways.
I honestly love that saying. I remember like I'm always using this saying. It's like a little small time saying, but people are always saying, this is good what you have going for you, but you need to have this just in case it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, say if you set a small goal for yourself, like I want to buy that bottle of Ballygown water in the shop, and you say, but if I can't afford that, it's okay. I'll just get the Spar brand maybe. And then you'll have something to fall back on, and you probably won't get that Ballygown water because you're not like, I have to make this happen. I have no other choice. And I think that's the only way to become successful. And
yeah, like the
get
pressure
Exactly.
of having to make something happen. 100%.
Yeah. Do you know what that's called? It's called being trapped in a golden cage. So when things are all right, they're just okay. They're not fantastic, but they're not rock bottom. So you're trapped in the middle. You're trapped in a golden cage. So you don't have a motivation to go right to the top because everything's just going okay. So sometimes you need to hit that rock bottom moment where you just have no choice but to go straight to the top.
yeah, definitely. And when you started YouTube, then how did you sort of overcome the fear of putting yourself out there, and how did you keep going video after video? Maybe the first few weren't getting enough views and you're like, oh, this is pointless. How did you keep going then?
Yeah, so you know what? I just had a perspective. Like a lot of times what people look at, right? They'll start a YouTube channel or they'll start a podcast and they'll compare themselves to like the biggest podcast in the world getting like 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views. And their podcast will get 1,000 views and they'll say, oh God, this is useless. Oh, I'm not doing this. Oh, I'm not getting 100,000 views. I have perspective. I'm like, oh my God, 1,000 people. Imagine filling a room, a stadium with 1,000 people. That's insane. So instead of looking at what everyone else was doing and looking at all these people with big numbers, like my first video got like a couple of hundred views. And I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And I was honestly, so my channel it's coming up to hit like 500,000 subscribers. And then on Instagram, I don't know what I'm on. I think it's like 600,000 or something. It's like over 1 million collectively. I was happier when I hit my first 1,000 followers, because I was like, holy shit, 1,000, like this is insane. So instead of looking at everyone and comparing yourself to people with 1 million followers or 1 million quid in the bank account or whatever, I was just focused on me. And so that makes the journey much more enjoyable.
I'm sure you love looking back on your own journey, like going through your page every now and again and going back to the old posts and thinking, Jesus, I've come a long way.
Yeah, I do that the whole time. I do, especially on YouTube, because you can like sort, you can't really do this on Instagram, but on YouTube, you can sort videos oldest to newest or newest to oldest. So I have these videos of me 10 years ago, like baby face Rob, just starting out in the fitness industry. And like the videos are so shaky. The audio is terrible. They're just filmed on a phone, but they're so precious to me because it shows me like exactly where I was on my journey. And like, even when I have kids, you know, I got my first baby, baby girl on the way here in June. Like she thank you. I'm so happy. She can see these videos. Like, you know, she can watch everything. She can see like videos of me and her mother, Linda, you know, doing a Q&A. Like it's so valuable to document your journey. Like it's just, there's nothing like it.
And do you think the fitness industry has expanded a lot and compared to when you started?
Oh, absolutely. So if you just look at the analytics, like you look at the actual charts, the fitness industry is on track to be, I think it already is, like $1 trillion industry. It's one of the biggest industries in the world. And because, you know, people are much more health conscious, especially after COVID. That was like a big wake up call for a lot of people. And two, since like the 70s, 80s, obesity is just rising. So more people need to get trained. They need to get educated. So the fitness industry has just been growing nonstop, and people are becoming a lot more health conscious.
Definitely. Nowadays, even nowadays, all I hear about is calories. This has this much calories. Do you think some people are taking it to the extreme where it's becoming unhealthy?
That's a great question. And so calories are still the main driver when it comes to getting out of shape. So whether you count calories or you don't count calories, they still count. You know, so but people can become too obsessive with them. And it can kind of ruin their relationship with food, and it can take up too much bandwidth in their mind. So what I recommend people do is, for like, let's say they're jumping on a new program or they're starting a new routine, is track your calories or your macros. So your macronutrients are what make up your calories. So your protein, carbs, and fats. And so you track your macros, your calories, it's kind of the same thing. Track them really accurately for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. And then you will now know what certain foods look like. So you can look at a plate of chicken, rice, potatoes, whatever, and you can say, oh, there's roughly 500 calories in that. There's roughly 50 grams of protein. But without doing that initial tracking phase of 2 to 3 weeks, it's like asking someone how long is a piece of string. So like you will never know because you've never measured. So I think tracking calories is an extremely powerful tool, but you don't have to do it forever, and you don't have to become obsessive with it.
Definitely. And when you first started YouTube, then what was your first sort of brand deal? Was it My Protein or who was it? And how did that make you feel then?
The brand deals didn't come for like at least a year. So like maybe I'd get some free gym gear or a free tub of protein, but like I was never really getting paid. The first euro I ever made online was I sold an ebook for 20 or 30 euro. And I'll never forget. So I had it on my website on roblipsett.com. And, you know, I was just making YouTube videos, and I would say, hey guys, if you want some more information, my ebook is in the description box. And when someone first bought that, I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh, I've made it. You know, I can quit my job and all this. It was the best feeling ever. And it kind of gave me a feeling of passive income. It gave me a feeling of Wi-Fi money. It gave me a feeling of, oh, I can make money in my sleep now, and also deliver a great service as well. So that was the first piece of euro I made online, was from selling a PDF. And then I started selling some Lipsett Fitness gym wear as well. Some people like send me a photo, like still wearing it 10 years later. Crazy feeling. So I made some LF gym wear, and then I did some one-on-one coaching as well. So that was a little bit more expensive. And then I went into like some brand deals and sponsorships as well. But they were the first kind of entrepreneurial things I did in terms of making money online.
And what's your opinion on like sea swimming and like cold water dipping?
Oh, it's amazing. So it's overhyped a little bit. Like some people say that it burns fat or burns calories, and that's not true. Like if that was the case, you could just eat whatever you want and jump in an ice bath. Believe me, I would do that if possible. I have a really good ice bath from an Irish brand, actually, C11 Recovery. Shout out C11, delivered it all the way to Marbella. But I love an ice bath, but some of the benefits are overhyped. The main benefits are it's good for the mind. So if you are in an ice bath, you're not thinking about anything else. So I find it really clears my thoughts, and it kind of, funny enough, helps me relax. I know, like, it might not look like you're relaxing at the time, but it really just kind of sets your head straight. And two, it wakes you the hell up. You know, it spikes your adrenaline and everything. Like, it's impossible not to feel alert after doing an ice bath or a sea swim in the morning. And then in terms of like a sea swim as well, it's a little bit different. Like, you're getting out in nature, like there's vitamins and minerals in the sea. It's like a fun pastime to do with other people. So there's more of like a holistic part of things there. But I think sea swimming is amazing, and so is ice baths too. But the benefits can be overhyped.
And how do you deal with the pressure of always being in the spotlight and sort of the limelight and putting yourself out there all the time? And how do you overcome sort of hate comments or trolls?
So at this stage, I've gotten used to it, and it's just like part of my schedule. I'm like, all right, YouTube video on Sunday, doing a podcast today, got like 5 Instagram posts going up. I just don't even think about it, and it's just part of my schedule. But I remember like the first time I ever got a hate comment, like, 10 years ago or something. I was like, what? I was like, what did someone just say? I felt like I got punched in the face. I'm like, how dare you? I was
Yeah.
like, I can't believe this, because it's so crazy. The internet gives us the ability to pretty much just say what we want without any consequences. Like, that has not existed in human history ever. So trolls can just be completely anonymous, and they can take all their anger and frustration out on someone they see online who's doing well, and they've had a bad day. They leave a hateful comment, they feel better about themselves, and they have no consequences. So it's a pretty crazy dynamic when you think about it. But you really just have to not care and come from a place of empathy. I've never met a successful person who leaves anonymous hate comments online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, ever. And I've got some extremely successful friends. I'm not like, hey bro, did you carve out an hour to leave some troll comments today? Like, obviously not. Like, is Ronaldo going around leaving troll comments on people's pictures? No. Like, it's the people with absolutely zero going on during the day. They have so much spare time that they're making a fake profile. They're using an email address to sign up to another profile, to verify it, make up a fake username, watch all your stuff, and then leave a comment.
Yeah.
Like, these people are in a bad place. And I actually feel really sorry for people who do leave anonymous comments. So you can't take it seriously. You can't get annoyed, and you just have to feel sorry for the person.
Yeah, there's a little saying about that. It's like, don't take criticism off someone you wouldn't take a voice off. And the same going, don't take a voice off someone you wouldn't take criticism off.
Exactly. And when you actually think of the logistics behind leaving a hateful comment, that shit takes time. Like
Yeah.
I said, you got to create the profile, you got to watch all the content, you got to type it out. And like, some are like long paragraphs. This stuff takes time. So yeah, it's a super weird thing to do. And I can proudly say I've never left like an anonymous troll comment in my life. It's crazy when you think about it.
And what inspired you to start GamePlan then?
Yeah. So it was originally called Lipsett Fitness, my training app. And when I started out in the fitness industry, I kind of briefly mentioned it, that I would sell PDFs and everyone, they would buy one, a group of lads would buy one, and they'd all just email it to each other. So I was like, okay, shit, I need to think of a better way to scale this. And then if I was just doing one-on-one like emails, it would take so much time to do. Like if 10 people signed up in a day, it would just take me so long to type out each personalized plan, and they all have to be personalized, because if a male athlete or a woman who sits at her desk all day and who just started the gym, if they both sign up, they're both obviously going to have to get extremely different plans. So I was like, okay, I've got to like develop something that can give personalized plans. I can work with a team on it, and I can do it at scale and make everything a lot more fluid. So in 2000 and I think 17, maybe 2018, I made Lipsett Fitness app. So when someone signs up, they put in all their personalized details, how many days a week they can make to the gym, what food they like, what food they don't like, any allergies or injuries that we need to work around, their progress pictures, everything, like just a software that works everything in. And I launched that, and it took a lot of stress out of my life, and it got my clients better results. And then so about 3 years ago, I rebranded it to GamePlan, which I think is a really cool name. I can't believe I even got the username on Instagram. Like, yeah, there we go. You know, I when I found that username, I was like, how is this not taken? Because I want something that is bigger than me. If something is just called like Lipsett Fitness, only the people that know me are going to sign up. But with GamePlan, people that don't know me end up signing up. So I was just creating something bigger than me, but essentially it's the same app, you know, just with a few more updates.
And you know what I wanted to ask you? I did a PT course myself, not bragging or rapping, but I did a 10-week PT course, and at the end of it, the man that did that said to us, when you're going out now, your goal should be to find a client who's exactly like you and wants to have sort of the goals or the gains you have, but 3 steps behind you. So it's much easier to help them. And what I wanted to ask you was, how do you deal with the different varieties of people and different goals and different things like that? And how do you adapt to the change of people and what they need?
That's a great question. And so what he's kind of talking about there is, who's your customer avatar? And to be fair, 90% of people that sign up to work with me, they're very like me. So it's guys in their mid to late 20s, early 30s, and that they all want to get ripped. You know, and they all want to also not like completely sacrifice their social life. They want to still be able to go out and have fun from time to time, but still also get results. So that's like my customer avatar. And your old PT teacher is actually correct, because guys who want to look like me will relate to me. Like guys who are in the same age bracket and who are the same gender as me, men, they will relate to me. So like I know it's like, oh God, you can't say this, but like it's very hard for, like, let's say a woman to coach a man who wants to be a bodybuilder. Like they're just not really going to relate to them. So he's right in the sense that you want to find people that you can relate to and that you can create a good back and forth with. So yeah, that's pretty good advice. And of course, I still will get people signing up to my programs that are not like me, you know, but the majority of people are 90% men in their 20s and 30s who want to get lean. So yeah, he was right. Yeah.
And back to when you got your first brand deal and you made your first money off it, did you have a vision in your head of where you wanted to go and how you were going to get there, or did you have a next step or a plan in mind that you wanted to sort of follow and achieve?
So I would always just look at guys, usually from America, who have been in the industry a little bit longer for me. And I never want to copy anyone, but like I would take inspiration from their journey, and I say, I want to do that and put my own spin on things. But yeah, my first, my first brand deal, I think it was My Protein. I was like, that was the first kind of main sponsorship I got. And it was so funny. Like before that, I would get sent like free stuff, like from loads of different brands. And I'd be like, oh my God, I'm getting free stuff.
Yeah,
Even though you can't pay bills with a tub of protein, you know?
yeah.
And then so My Protein, like they emailed me with like a contract and like a monthly salary and like commission. And I was like, wait, what? You guys want to pay me? So I was like, y'all are getting paid. So that was a mind-blowing moment for me. Like when I would see people use a product on social media. I just thought I was so immature in this sense. I thought they were all just like getting free products. I did not know that people are getting paid large amounts of cash to work with a brand. So yeah, that was like the kind of first main sponsor I got. And then also Alphalete as well. I've been with them since I think like 2016 now.
And how long were you doing it then when you decided to take the next step and sort of move from Ireland to Marbella or Dubai or any of these America? I know you were over in America for a while, right?
Yeah, for sure. So I remember in 2016 was the first time I like flew myself out to a fitness expo, the LA Fit Expo. And that's when I started networking and meeting so much guys in my industry. And this was the first kind of taste I got of like, not just going somewhere for like a week, but going somewhere for like 3 or 4 weeks, like long-term travel. And I was like, because, again, I was starting to make some money from the YouTube online thing, and I didn't have a job anymore. So I had like a lot more time where I could go away. And that was my first taste of like proper networking. And that trip got me sponsored by Alphalete, who I'm still with today. And so, yeah, that gave me a lot of direction and gave me a taste for what's possible.
Do you have a story behind the Alphalete sponsorship? Because I think there's one for Ghost, isn't there?
Yeah. So there's one for both of them. Okay. So funny enough, with the Alphalete one, do you guys know Christian Guzman? Yeah. So he was like, I don't know how I got his Snapchat, but I would always watch his videos. And I think his Snapchat was like written on the desk in one of his videos. And so I got that anyways. And I sent him a picture of my laptop, like with my channel on the screen. And I had like maybe 7,000 subscribers. And I was like, bro, check out my channel. And he wrote back being like, oh, awesome. Can you like email me? And it was something like christian@yahoo.com, like some really old email. And then that's how we got in touch. It was from like, it's literally Snapchat. And then we met each other on that LA trip that I spoke about. And then he was like, oh, I'm going to build this brand, because he was with Gymshark at the time. He was like, I'm going to build this brand. I would love for you to be like the first athlete. And now that's just been like an amazing journey for me. So the Athlete one started with Snapchat and the trip to LA. And then the Ghost one. So I was with my protein at the time, and I ended up going on a night out in Birmingham after the Body Power Expo, which is like a big fitness expo. And I was with the two owners of Ghost, and I just had the best night ever with them. Like, so much fun. They're like, we'll double whatever my protein are paying you if you sign with us right now. And I was like, guys, I'll sign with you just because you're good guys, and that we've had such a blast. And then the rest is history. But me and the Ghost owners, Dan and Ryan, they're like, two very close friends of mine. And they just sold, I think they sold a part of Ghost or all of Ghost for $1 billion to Dr. Pepper. So they are just...
Shows you on the scale that we're working.
It's crazy, wildly successful.
And how do you deal with like everyday life? And like, would you get many people, like, how do you deal with like getting DMs of people and balancing your life out?
Sure. So at this stage of my life, I'm like, so what I recommend you guys do, and anyone listening does, is think of your dream day-to-day life. Like, think of your dream routine. And like, obviously can't be ridiculous, but hey, feel free to kind of dream big on this one. So for me, I'm like, I want to wake up without an alarm. I want to do some deep, meaningful work in the morning. So something like a podcast or some editing or, some calls, something that I need, or recording videos, something that I need to be like sharp, able to speak concisely and creative for. Then at about 11 to 12, I want to go to the gym. You take as much time as I like there and just train. That's my favorite part of the day. Then between 12 and 1, I'll like record content. I usually record after my workout. Because I like to train without a camera and just really concentrate. And then I'll record all the gym footage.
Video then
yeah, I'll do it. So it's fake workouts you're seeing. The real workout has happened before. And then at about like 1 p.m., I'll go for a swim in the sea. In Marbella, of course, it's very easy to do, but I still try to do the same in Ireland. And then I'll go out for lunch, or I'll make lunch at home, and I'll have like a really large meal. It's like my main meal of the day. Then afterwards, I'll go into a second work block of the day, usually between like, 3 to 5, just stuff like, pretty easy tasks. And then around 6 p.m., I'll usually post on all socials. and then kind of wind down and clock off for the evening. That is like my ideal perfect day. So you need to figure out like what does your ideal day look like, and then reverse engineer it. So start slowly making that a reality. So I said that's exactly how I want my day to go. So I'm going to put systems in place and make my life so that that day is a reality. So that's what my day today looks like. That's how I handle it. Hard work block in the morning, get 90% of stuff done. Middle of the day, I'll train and eat. And then in the second half of the day, just kind of easy, mundane tasks.
Is that why you took the step to moving abroad? Because it would have been easier and sort of better for yourself to get your dream day to day?
Kind of. But my day to day was still similar enough in Ireland. What happened here with moving to Marbella was, so I came here during COVID for 1 month. And I was like, because, it was locked. Gyms were closed in London, gyms were closed in Dublin, all UK and Ireland, the gyms are closed. And that's the most important part of my day, is going to the gym. Without training, not every day, 5-6 days a week, but even on rest days, I'll do some activity. Without exercise, my mind goes to shit, my body goes to shit, my health, everything. It doesn't matter how successful you get. And listen to me, lads, does not matter where you get in life. Number one thing is your health and fitness. That is the most important thing in the world, because if you are not fit and healthy, you are in a coffin, you're in the graveyard, nothing matters. Nothing matters. Doesn't matter if you've €1 billion, €10 million. If you are dead, you can't use it. If you are severely out of shape and you're sick constantly, do you want to be fat and sick in a Lambo? No. No one cares. Like literally nobody cares. If you are bent out of shape, all sick, constantly driving around your Lambo, no one gives a shit. If someone sees a fit and healthy physique and someone who's glowing and radiating and healthy, that's what commands respect. That is the true status symbol. So number one is health and fitness. So the gyms were closed in Ireland, UK, and I said, I'm cracking up. Linda, where in Europe is gyms open that we can go to? And we landed on Marbella. I actually used to work in a bar here when I was 18 or something. So I know the area. And then we came here, gyms are all open. And I would previously have viewed Marbella as a party place, kind of like Magaluf or Ibiza. And then all the nightclubs are closed, all the gyms are open. I found there's loads of healthy cafes and everything. The sunlight obviously is amazing. And so I found I was really productive here. And then so I kept getting an Airbnb for another month, and to the point where it was 6 months. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to buy a villa here. And then, so then I bought a place here and renovated it. And it's been the best decision ever.
And what was the inspiration behind starting Fuel Cakes?
So the inspiration behind that, if you go back to my most viewed videos, my first ever viral video was how to make protein pancakes. So I'm in this shared accommodation. There's 10 ingredients all over the kitchen. The kitchen's a complete mess. They take me 20 minutes to make. The macros aren't even that good on them. The calories are really high. But I was always known as the pancake guy after making that video, because it's still one of my most viewed videos to this day. And here's some killer business advice. Anyone listening right now, take note of this. Don't build your product first. Build your audience first and ask them what they want. So have a think on that. A lot of people will say, all right, I'm going to build this product, and they'll go around begging for customers with their hands out. And everyone's like, no one wants this. Go away. But if you have an audience that is already there and they're going to like someone, you'll launch the business, be it coaching or supplements or pancakes, whatever. You will launch it and you will have customers immediately. Boom, the business is profitable immediately. 90% of businesses fails, not yours if you do audience first. So I had a viral video about protein pancakes. I had an audience that would always comment how do you make protein pancakes? And so I was like, I'm just going to make a protein pancake company. And I didn't want to make a gymwear company because I'm with Alphalete, and I love good gymwear, but I had no passion to make one. With my supplements, everyone in the fitness industry has a supplement company. It's very common to do.
Yeah.
I'm also a ghost. So I was like, what can I do that's different? That I'm going to make like essentially a food company. And so, yeah, that's why I made fuel cakes.
Deadly.
I need to
And
get
what
you guys some as well. I'm going to send you a code after this that puts like the price to 0. You can order as much as you like.
You're a legend, Rob.
Thanks a lot,
I
Rob.
will make sure me and Glenn.
You guys just got a lifetime supply of fuel cakes.
You're a legend. Me and Glenn are gonna we actually only started the YouTube channel because we're only moving into video on the podcast now. So we'll do a little 10-15 minute video review on the pancakes.
Awesome. Good lads. There you go.
And what advice would you give to the younger generation out there?
Oh wow. So that's a loaded question. And I'm obviously gonna be like biased towards like content creation and everything, but I can only speak. I'll give some advice that I would give to like my younger self. And the first thing is you don't want to be a slave to technology. You want to utilize it to set you free. So don't be a consumer, be a creator. Instead, do you ever see those people that are constantly got their head in their phones? So depressing. Oh my God. Like, so you're like, your neck is all bent and everything. And they're constantly head in their phone for 8 hours a day. Go on ask people for their screen time. Most people are on TikTok and Instagram for 8 hours a day and they're posting 0. So they're actually gaining 0 from it. They're just giving all their energy and attention to other people. So don't be a consumer, be a creator. Like if you want to consume, of course I go on social media myself, but I also create a lot on social media. I create the most on social media and I utilize it to build my dream life. So if you're putting all your time and your head is constantly in a screen, try make it productive. Like at least you learn something from it. So one thing that I do consume a lot of is I consume a lot of YouTube. So if I want to learn how to edit, if I want to learn about property, if I want to learn about a guest that I'm interviewing on a podcast, if you want to learn about anything, it's on YouTube. So my YouTube watch time is very high, but I'm watching stuff that is going to help me. So, be a creator and be careful of what you consume. So that's like my first piece of advice. And also don't be afraid to take the road less traveled. I always thought you had to do the college, the internship, the job, and that's it. That's the only route you can do. And then I realized that now with this crazy online world that exists, you can do virtually anything. Like you can literally just say something and make a living out of it. Like there's just endless opportunities and endless routes to go. You can start an agency. You can be a videographer. You can be an editor. You can do drop shipping, e-commerce, fitness coaching, podcasting. Endless ways to go. So don't think that you have to take the conventional route that our parents and our grandparents led us to believe we have to do.
And what was your favorite place that you've been to? Because obviously when you moved to Marbella and you were only in Dubai last week, I seen, and did you go to Dubai after Marbella? And what do you think is the best place for networking? Like,
okay, great question. Dubai is amazing for meeting people, and it's an expensive place, so everyone is basically an entrepreneur. Because if you're not, like you like can't live there pretty much. And it's like, so everyone you meet is like doing something pretty much, and everyone is very like social, and they'll say, hey, go meet this guy, go meet this person. So it is a great place. Some people they give it a bad rap and they complain about it if they're like, oh, it's too materialistic. Like then you're doing materialistic things in Dubai. Like I go to the gym and I go to the beach in Dubai. Like same thing I do here. So when someone complains about a place, it actually says more about the individual, in my opinion. But I think Dubai is great. I think Marbella is now became the like business productivity hub of Europe. I've lived in London for a year as well. I think that's overrated in terms of like a place that you have to go to. Like maybe if you're like a corporate banker, you can go there. But in terms of like being an entrepreneur, actually, this is the most important point I want to make. You can go to all these locations, but nowadays with being an entrepreneur, it's all online. We're doing this podcast online. You DM'd me and we met that way. Everything is online based, and it's all about the content that you put out. That's your business card. And if you are putting out amazing content, you can actually access anyone in the whole world. And if you even like, I was there put in a group chat with this, like he's a Gary V type guy, Sahil Bloom. And, you know, we did a podcast. He's got like 1 million followers. Someone introduced us, put us in a group chat, and then we recorded a podcast. And he just sent me his book and yada, yada, yada. It's all just done online. Networking is even done on Instagram nowadays or LinkedIn or whatever you want. So it's not so much about being in a specific place anymore. And it's more about what you're putting out there into the world.
And do you think it's important for somebody who sort of wants to be an entrepreneur, wants to unlock their dream life, to go out and experience that and sort of be around these different people and see how it's happening? And because even there's this quote, it's like, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You should surround yourself with people that are sort of smarter than you, and you'll grow then. And eventually that's when you move into the next room and keep growing.
For sure. I'm actually putting on a huge business event here in June, first week of June in Marbella. Me and Adam Power are putting it on. We put it on last year and the year before. So this is the third one. And the feedback from that is always just amazing. Like a full weekend of just guys who want to create content, be entrepreneurs, get after it, live a life of freedom. And everyone walks away from that weekend just feeling amazing. So if you can go to events like this where you can meet like-minded people, that's fantastic. 100% do it. I've done it a lot of times myself, gone out of my way to put myself in the right rooms, as you mentioned. But you don't have to like live somewhere year round. And there's actually a huge entrepreneurial scene in Ireland. Like Ireland has actually got a lot of go-getters. You know, Ireland is actually a great place to be. Like Joe, one thing I was talking to someone about this recently. There's only like a handful of English speaking countries in the world, right? There's like America, Canada, Australia, UK, Ireland.
Yeah.
Like there's not that many places to go, you know, like, so Ireland's a very rare country in the sense that like it's a tiny country, but it's still like an English speaking country with like, you know, a big entrepreneurial scene. So, you know, don't knock Ireland. It's definitely, I built my whole career while I was in Ireland, but then, you know, you can base yourself here and then go to other places as well.
And is there any like quotes that you live by? Because we usually wrap up episodes with like quotes or anything that people could take away.
Yeah, for sure. So I got one tattoo that you can see anyways. And it's something that's very dear to my heart. And it's, I'll either find a way or make one. And it is just, it is just, I've, you know, the way some people, they'll get a tattoo and a few years later, they'll be like, nah, I don't actually like it. Oh, I regret it. I've had this years now and I'm like, yep, still absolutely true. You know, zero regrets on that one. You know, I'll either find a way or make one. No matter what situation you're in, no matter where you are at in life, you will get around it. You can get through it. There's been people in way more difficult situations than you, and they've got through it. So whatever you're going through, you've got 100% success rate so far. Keep going.
And when did you start up VillaLipsett then? And what exactly is VillaLipsett for people who don't know?
For sure. So VillaLipsett is my villa in Marbella. It is my dream home. I purchased it in, would have been, I think it was 2021 or kind of the end of 2021. And then I renovated it like all of 2022. And then just like I've been living in it now for the last like year or so. And it's the dream. I absolutely love it. It's kind of like, I'm not a very like materialistic guy. Like I don't flex much, but this is definitely my prized possession. You know, it's something that I value a lot. It's a place that I can raise a family in. It's been a great investment in terms of like rental income, or the actual value of the property is tripled. So it's been a crazy good investment for me, and renovating a property it's a stressful experience, but it's a very fulfilling one. So yeah, that's my baby.
And how do you stay motivated, Rob? Because you have the villa, you have the girl, you have these businesses, you have all the followers. How do you still get up every day and say, I want to be better, I want to do this, I want to do this, and still have a vision and a goal you want to keep working towards?
For sure. And sometimes I ask myself that. I'm like, oh, what's the point? You know, I'm done. I'm like, I'm happy. I'm content. What's the point? And keep going. And I'm just doing it because I love doing it. And I feel weird when I'm not doing it. I feel super weird. I feel like there's something missing. Like if I ever take a week where I'm not like doing podcasts, creating content, lifting weights, talking about fitness, I feel just not myself. I feel just, I feel out of it. So that's what keeps me going, is that I'm just genuinely doing what I love to do. Hence why I've been doing it for a decade, you know? And so that's it, you know, it's not a case of motivation. It's just a case that I feel not myself when I'm not doing it.
What exactly are you currently working towards?
Oh, I've got everything kind of set up nicely. Got GamePlan set up nicely, fuel cakes, Ghost, Alpha Lead. I got this event that I just mentioned as well. That's going to be in June in Marbella. And then I've got another even bigger business event that I'm organizing for November as well, also in Marbella. So I'm trying to become the mayor of Marbella. I'm trying to, the Irish ambassador. I'm trying to turn it into like a business hub that people go to instead of somewhere people just party. So that's what I'm working towards. I'm of course working towards my biggest project yet, having a daughter, having a baby. So, you know, growing a family, like that's the meaning of life, because if we don't have families, the world will end, you know? So it's as simple as that. It's the most important thing you'll ever do. So I'm really looking forward to that. And, you know, I got married, I think it was like 4 months ago or something. So no time to waste.
A dream wedding for yourself.
Exactly. I know it sounds corny and cliche, but best day of my life. You know, having all my family and friends in one room, amazing sun, everyone dressed to the nines, beautiful food. And like the fact that you could give everyone that, it's just like the best feeling ever. And also to touch on content creation again, is, you know, we're a broken record at this stage. I have my wedding video to look back on forever, and it's up on YouTube, and I can share it with everyone. Super special video to me, and that was an amazing day. But in terms of things I'm working on, VillaLipsett, business events, and just, you know, keep on doing what I'm doing. I want to upload to YouTube more than ever this year, as that's just what makes me happy. When I put up like a really good video or a podcast, I feel like this sounds like very grandiose, but I feel like I'm hanging and picture like an art. I feel like I'm hanging art in a gallery, and that everyone can come look at it and they can judge it and critique it and get something from it. So like having a gallery of videos, a library of videos, that should be like your art gallery that you hang piece of content on.
Definitely. I have a question here that I was thinking to myself last night.
Keep going.
I was trying to get a really good one. Like, I have Rob Lipsett on the podcast. I can't believe it. I need to have something really, because our main goal with this podcast is somebody either learn something each week or get motivated and get up and get after whatever they want, no matter what people say, no matter what. If you have a vision in your head, make it happen. So the question is, if you could give everybody in the world a 30-day experiment, what would you give them and why to better their lives?
A 30-day experiment.
Yeah.
I would get them all here to VillaLipsett. I would just make them train every day, cook all their own food, and swim in the sea. But on a more serious note, if I was to actually tell people what to do for like 30 days, I would say to go into like a little bit of a monk mode. So I would follow like a really hardcore training program. I would cook all my own food. I would get out in nature like every day for a walk or a swim for at least an hour. And I'd do at least 3 hours of work that you find meaningful in the morning or whenever you can. I think if people do that for 30 days, and no alcohol or partying as well for 30 days. If people just do that 30-day monk mode, they would be so surprised at how much they would get done. The amount of like time, myself included in the past, that people waste just messing around, and they complain that they're not in the place they want to be with their physique or their health or their business or their productivity. People, if they just locked in for 30 days, do exactly what I just said there, they would be so shocked at how much life progress they could make.
Deadly, yeah. Thanks a lot. I think that's everything we have for you, Rob.
Lads, great questions.
Yeah,
we'll have to try link up in person soon.
100%. You know what? I'm actually going to be in Ireland like for a good few months this year, because we're having the baby in June. obviously in Ireland. Up the lads, we
Yup,
gotta
the
get
lads,
it. We gotta
yeah.
get an Irish passport. So
Yeah.
that's in June, and so we're going to be home like the months surrounding that. So like May, June, July. I'm giving up Marbella summer. I've had enough of them. I'm going to be in Ireland for like 3 or 4 months this year. So let's link up for sure.
We try to get a gym pump in.
100%. Come down to Raw Gym. I'll be there like pretty much every day, and we'll all get a lift off, and then we'll have some pancakes afterwards. So I'll have some fuel cakes.
Deadly. Sounds like a great day.
It sounds like a perfect day. Then we can jump in the sea.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. It's been an absolute pleasure. This is honestly a full circle moment for us, and thanks a lot for coming in, honestly. And you know what? I have one more question for you.
Please, I've blocked off a day for this.
Is there anything you look at now constantly and think, do you know what? I can't believe how far I've come, because it is important to appreciate how far you come and say, I am so happy from where I started to where I am now.
So there's one trait of very successful and driven individuals, and they're all extremely hard on themselves. That's like a very common trait among successful individuals. And sometimes I am really hard on myself, and it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, and I can really beat myself up from time to time. And then I'll go back and I'll be like, oh, I need to be working harder. I need to be doing more. I should be here when I'm here. And it's pointless to beat yourself up on this. And then sometimes I'll like scroll through my camera roll, or I'll watch an old video on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my God, like 18-year-old Rob would be so happy living in his villa in Marbella with his beautiful wife and a kid on the way. So sometimes you need to take a moment to zoom out, have some perspective, and realize how far you've come. Yeah, and everyone can do that. And that's only going to have a positive effect on your day. So yeah, definitely I need to do it a little bit more. And I love when people say that, just zoom out and look at your whole trajectory of your life and look at how far you've come. Like take a visual representation of that, like of maybe you started your journey at 18 and you're 28 now. Like get that map up in front of your mind and say, oh my God, I've came so far.
Definitely. But I think that's one of the main traits as well of somebody who's so driven and gets so far and ticks off their goals. You have to be sort of that bit mad. You can't really have a balanced lifestyle. You have to be fully driven. You have to be sort of delusional that you're gonna make it happen, because it won't happen. Then that's why sort of another little quote is, the rear view mirror is smaller than the windscreen for a reason. It's good to look back, but you need to keep your focus and keep locked in and keep driving.
Exactly. And I like what you said there about delusional. You gotta be like, you really have to have these like crazy visions. And so this is just a quick one, like before we go, my visualization process is I'll picture something that I want to happen. And I have a diary that I write in, like a notebook. I'll physically write it down in the future, like on a certain date that I want it to happen. And I'll write it and I'll put it out there into the world. And when you write it, it's physical, it's real. And it always happens. And it always happens in, on, or around the date I write on. It's scary. It's crazy. And another thing I'll do, and this works both ways, is, are you ever like thinking of the worst possible outcome and you're replaying this scenario in your head constantly? Well, it's going to happen if you keep replaying it. But the same works in the opposite. Think of something that you really want to happen and visualize it every 3 seconds. Like when I really want something to happen, it'll be on repeat in this part of my brain, and then it will end up happening. So your brain is so powerful, but it's a double-edged sword. It can work both ways. It can make your dreams come true, or it can make your nightmares come true. So be really careful with your thoughts and screen your thoughts. Like kind of do an audit on your thoughts. Be like, oh, are my thoughts dark? Are they negative? Or are my thoughts positive and things that I want to come true? So be like, police your thoughts. Be very careful with them.
Unbelievable.
Legend.
Absolute legend, Rob. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go out and take on the world now. I'm so
yes, that's what we want, fellas. That's what we want.
Honestly, yeah, that's I think that's it. Episode 30 now.
Back in the
wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to plug around, Rob, or last few words?
I think we've done enough plugging. Just if anyone's listening, go check out my YouTube channel. Just search up Rob Lipsett and you'll get it. And then from there, that's the sales funnel. You'll find everything I do from there.
Yeah.
Legend.
Thanks a lot for coming
Thanks
in.
a
So
lot.
we'll cut
Appreciate it,
here.
guys. You're legends.